I was just a terrible student, so I just put all my efforts and time and thought into that over the schoolwork, and that's what I did throughout high school. Like, I just didn't really spend that much time on schoolwork, which is not a great lesson for anybody listening or watching this, but that was my truth. And, like I said earlier, I didn't read a single book, like, kind of, half assed my way through every paper,
Hmm.
uh, but worked really, really hard on the things that I cared about, which at the time were radio and social media. And I just allocated all my time and effort to that. Like, honestly, you can it's okay if you don't try really hard at one thing if you're working just out of your mind on whatever you're passionate about. But if you're doing neither of those, then you're just lazy. And lazy isn't good. But lazy on one thing, when you know it's like not you and not your future and whatever, and you see a little bit of traction on the other end, then yeah, I think that was my case scenario. Definitely not for everybody, but for some people for sure.
Was there ever a time when you were in school and like something would come up because of Hoops Nation where you had to like miss school or anything? Or
Yeah, all the time. My favorite thing was like this probably about a year ago now, having to ask every single teacher to sign off on me missing 2 weeks of school for NBA All Star in LA. And that was one of the first moments where I was like, wow, when there were certain parties and stuff like that with players, and just going up and dapping a lot of those guys up. That happened, but also that I had to get permission from every single teacher to miss 2 weeks, and I had to explain why. And none of these teachers had context on anything I did, who I am. I'm just like the really bad student in the back of the class, always on his phone, and like half the time got his phone taken away mid class, which was literally the worst thing ever.
yeah.
Getting your phone taken away in class when you know news is about to drop, or you have to do something, or somebody's texting you, and then an hour later, because they were like hour-long classes, you had to hit them back and be like, sorry, my phone got taken away. Obviously you wouldn't say that, but that was the truth. But yeah, having to go around and ask every teacher for permission, and I got it. So I was in LA last year for a couple of weeks, missed a bunch of school. But yeah, that happened a couple times in smaller doses. But yeah, it was always weird having to get teacher permission and give context on something that, like, to them was ludicrous because, I was this kid that could like barely write and couldn't read. Uh, you know, that kid. Yeah,
Hmm. And then how'd your parents, were they supportive of everything you were doing?
super supportive, beyond supportive. Um, they wanted me to look at colleges, which I did. And then once my college advisor advised me not to go to college based on some of the stuff I had going on, um, all thumbs up for me. Yeah,
Hmm. That's awesome. And now I know, like you said, school wasn't your thing, but you
yeah.
graduated, which is
I
sweet.
did graduate. Yeah,
But I've heard you say that maybe you'll just go to college for one semester when you're like 21.
yeah. I thought that for a while. As time goes on, it's increasingly less likely, but that would be the dopest thing ever. If in 3 years, I got into a school, preferably a good school. Like if I ended up at Stanford for half a semester, that'd just be the coolest thing ever. To just go around, learn, obviously film a lot, and just see kind of what that walk of life is. Or maybe like a party school and just go there with like a content team and just do like a documentary on what college life is really like. And you know I think that'd be super super interesting, and that's definitely something that I would consider exploring. Post 20th 21st birthday, probably 21st since everything will be legal at that time. I think something like that is still possible. The more I think about it, the doper it sounds, but in reality, it's pretty unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so on your come up and stuff, was there ever any issues where people are like, you're too young, or was age ever like a barrier for you?
Yeah, when I started live streaming, I mean, keep in mind I was like 15 years old, so I had braces and like more acne than I have now. Like, you know, that that was definitely the image, and like a 15-year-old kid talking about the NBA to like a community online, which was, not all white 15-year-old kids with braces. So there was definitely a lot of learning from the get on, what what my point was, what my perspective was, and for people to start accepting me after they saw me do it a bunch of times. Like, the way I look at it is, somebody's got to see you like 5, 10, 15, 20 times for them to really accept who you are, like you, whatever. Similar to how somebody has to see an ad for an iPhone 80 to 100 times before they actually buy the product, which is something interesting that I've learned, and I didn't know a couple weeks ago, but now I know, and now we
It's a
all
good
know.
stat, yeah.
And that's why they advertise so heavy. But it definitely took some time for sure. And I'm like, I still don't want everybody over, and I don't expect to. Like, right now, I'm an 18-year-old dude. Like, maybe I'm verified on Instagram, but like, that doesn't do it for everybody.
Yeah.
They still got to see something. And the radio background helps because I'm much more comfortable in front of a camera, and enunciation has gotten much better since I was younger and stuff of that nature. And obviously following the game much more in depth, and now that it's my job, that's a lot better and easier. So I definitely think that comes into play as well.